Hello and welcome to today's content, which will be focusing on the Halloween unit since two of them will be Rerun and Halloween Frederika specifically will be coming as a new unit. In this video specifically, I will be explaining all of these units, just a quick evaluation, and specifically Halloween little Leela and Rairyuu will not be getting a release video because I have already had a release on them, like a video as well, way back in the past, and their EXs are basically going to be here just for like a little bit amount of change for them. But yeah, this is basically going to be their main videos for quick evaluations, and I'll take a very quick glance at Halloween Frederika until her information is all fully released for global side, just in case she might get any hidden buffs, etc., all that. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin. So first things first, for little Leela, her Halloween evaluation, we'll just call her H Leela. Her rating, I will confidently say it's 4 to a 4.5 out of 5 rating. I'm not sure if she was good enough. Well, like, I know I explained in the video, like 4.5 is I think you should pull for this, but it's also situational depending on what composition you're going to use, because it's really dependent on how you're going to be using her. But yeah, she does have the potential to be a 4.5 out of 5 unit, but if you're not sure how to use her too well, I would say it's a 4 out of 5 unit. From here, the example team she would be having is kind of like a tornado strike evasion team that I just put up just for a fancy name. Is going to be this setup. It's literally evasion, but this does not take away any of the damage that Halloween Leela can deal and her survivability. This is actually going to maximize her potential survivability with evasion, as well as letting her deal a good amount of damage and still have a good amount of penetration as well. And she can still full life her team. So yeah, this is actually going to be a very, very strong setup. And she has the extra flexibility that she does not need to belong into a mono wind composition. She can easily be in a rainbow composition because she does have the white mage sub job if she wants to support other units and her team if she wanted to. So yeah, she's really, really versatile, and it's crazy how good she is. Matchups and units you want to watch for though, however, is going to be 100% hit units that have like 100% hit abilities. I mean, specifically Celir is going to be very strong into her just because of how the matchup is going to work. RNA has 100% hit abilities and she hits very hard. And I think it's Rafael, but she's going to be a new unit coming out, and she does have AoE 100% hit ability, so you do have to be wary for all these three units, specifically in terms of matchup for Halloween Leela. And yeah, that's going to be mostly for matchup units to watch for. Obviously, other 100% hit units will be relevant against Halloween Leela, but just keep that in mind. So let's talk about Halloween Leela's overall situation, just quick evaluation notes. So first off, she has extremely high luck and evasion stat. Keep in mind, her starting luck is not high. However, her base luck is very high, and this coupled with her own vision card, which is going to be the Typhoon vision card specifically, with the luck vision card in her team, she does rival the same amount of luck / evasion as you are Zazan. I believe I calculated, I think it was around like 3 through 6 or 7 evasion difference that she's lower than Zazan, but that's crazy good for her situation, especially because she's just as mobile as him if she wants to with Shikuchi, and or she can also be supportive of her team, or she can even kill Zazan, and I'll explain soon. But yeah, she's capable of a total of 72 agility with Shadowrunner before anything else, so she is very speedy girl. She's also able to have good movement due to Shikuchi, as I said before, and with her high luck plus her 30% hit EX ability with 50% spirit penetration for the ability, she's able to have very favorable matchups against evasion in general. So while she's also evading herself, and just in general, since she has an additional hit as well on her ability, she is actually good into evasion matchups. I'm not going to say it's a counter, however, it's very good that she has the extra hit ability. So yeah, you can expect her to actually be, I'm not going to say a hard counter, I'll say a soft counter into evasion units in general. Additionally, if you're stacking a lot of spirit and or magic attack penetration, while Leela does get only 20% magic attack penetration from the Typhoon vision card because it's a own bestow for her, she does do well into spirit tanks that are just stacking spirit because she does have very high spirit penetration with her EX ability, which is at 50%. So yeah, you do have to consider that she is going to be a strong hitter as well. Her limit break not only hits extremely hard, especially if they're a multiply like of the level, I think it was like 3 or 4 for her limit break, it gains an insane damage modifier on it. It will also render hate based tanks useless because it also dispels. So if you're having trouble with like Engelbert, like Warrior of Light, some other tanks like even Charlotte that were like using abilities for hate, she can just easily cleanse that with her limit break, and which has very high priority, by the way, because it hits super freaking hard. So yeah, she can make hate tanks very useless very quickly if she wanted to. She was kind of notorious for this as well back in the day before EX, because she was kind of taking out Warrior Light like hate ability back in the day as well. So yeah, this is pretty cool to see because she is gonna be very nice for this. Just like her, however, though, Sweetheart Celir also has the same situation with their limit break. They can like dispel, which is pretty strong in my opinion. Also, on her main job, because she is an arithmetician or a mathematic calculator girl, I forgot how they're gonna say it. I'm like a lot at a loss at words, but yeah, because that is her main job, she actually has no casts on her abilities on the main job, which is very, very good. She also has full life on her sub job because she does have the White Mage sub job. While those have cast times, her main job cast times do not exist. So she can have insta magic like a whim. So she is going to be very useful for that. Additionally, with the global buff to Typhoon Vision card, this significantly pushed Halloween Leela's possible stats and her kit to the maximum in terms of survivability, damage, and support. The survivability is not only does it give her a flat amount of luck from the vision card itself, it also gives her a percentage amount of luck on top of that. So she gets super high evasion from that. Additionally, the damage, she's not only going to get more magic percentage, she also gets magic attack resistance penetration on the vision card. Not only that, for support overall, because she's able to, the vision card also gives accuracy on the vision card, this also actually helps Tifa and 2B hit like evasion units in general, even herself. So yeah, it really, this card is very good for her, I will say. It's very good and important for her own survivability as well. Also, as I said before, she's able to flex just fine into the DPS / support role because she does have the White Mage sub job. She can use Protect and Shell and stay in the back. She can have full life. She can have insta heals outside of like Curada, all that stuff. I don't think she has Curaga, so I mean Curada only. Sorry about that. But yeah, she does have insta-cast heals because of the Arithmetician main job abilities. So yeah, she is a really solid unit. I will say, even if you don't have a good setup for her in general, if you wanted to pull her just because you wanted to, I will say I don't think you would really regret it. And she is a very solid wind unit in that regard as well. Moving on to Halloween Rairyuu and his evaluation. I know there's a lot on the screen, so let's just talk about it one at a time. So first off, the rating. If you are chasing TMRs, not at just the unit, but the unit plus the TMR, I think his value is a 4.5 out of 5. I am not joking. I think the Zombie Mask TMR, which is his personally, is insanely strong and good in almost all situations, unless it is like countered or removed specifically. So that's why I think it's really strong. However, if you don't care about TMRs or you don't have enough Vizier and you're not trying to chase TMRs because that's kind of like a whale / dolphin type of thing, then I do give him as a unit a 3.5 out of 5 if you're not chasing TMRs. So just keep that in mind. From here, his setup is going to be the Sundering Magnitude for his team. It's going to be Halloween Rairyuu, Oberon, and Noctis. I know Oberon and Noctis are not out yet, so just keep in mind this is just like an example team setup in the future. The vision card, he's going to be using the Dreams of Heroism, specifically because not only going to give himself like the magic stat he needs, it's going to boost his defense to even like higher. I believe he gives almost like 6 defense, so he'd have a base of 24 defense, which is really high. It will also give his team HP from the vision card as well as AoE resistance. From here, Oberon's vision card specifically is going to be the Elk Esper vision card, which we'll be getting in the future, which is going to be AoE resistance for the team as well as agility. From here, lastly, is going to be Noctis using the Solitary Line, not only to give Earth Attack to the team because they already have high defenses from the other vision cards, but also giving a little bit of accuracy and some slash resistance penetration. So Halloween Rairyuu can have very, very high slash resistance penetration. Just keep that in mind. Specifically also with this setup, he has a base of, I believe, 55% slash resistance penetration. And in the future, in our Final Fantasy 15 collaboration, we have the Engine Blade coming out, which does also have a magic type. If Halloween Rairyuu can use it, which he should be able to, there's no real reason why he shouldn't be able to, this could mean he has a base of 75% slash resistance penetration if he is set up this way specifically. Just keep that in mind. Also, overstacking slash resistance penetration against no slash resistance enemies doesn't really do anything. But yeah, this is kind of crazy, like his base setup can reach this type of potential. However, let's talk about his TMR. The Zombie Mask TMR is literally cast Re-Raise onto yourself. Not only is this TMR insanely good, insane amount of units can use this as well. Like a plethora amount of units can use this. It's crazily good in my opinion, and the amount of units that can use it, especially like mages in general that can use it, it is very effective in like helping you kind of cheese the matchup and even win situations which you shouldn't normally be able to win. And I say this because I would put it almost at the same tier as bells, almost. And I say this specifically for mages because mages don't necessarily need bells. Obviously, if you're using a lot of AP, you might like want it specifically. However, this TMR, I really believe its potential is really strong. If it's not for bells, I would put it like one lower below bells if it's not rated the same. But yeah, matchups and units you kind of want to watch for is obviously going to be the wind team. He is going to be very weak into these specific 3 wind units, which are also very meta of wind units if you think of wind specifically. And yeah, Halloween Leela specifically will dumpster him very quickly, same with 2B and Tifa, just in general. It's funny how like we go about this and he's Earth and we're just talking about all his potential, and then he could just get instantly shut down by just wind in general. Like these units will have no problem against him. Ironically, he also does not have high enough accuracy to even hit these units if they're going to their peak potential evasion. So yeah, just keep that in mind. He has an insanely not winnable uphill match against the wind units. Like there's not much he can do. Usually there is something you can do, but he does not have any 100% hit abilities, so he really does not. Anyways, let's talk about his overall situation. So first off, he does have a base of 40% spirit penetration on a passive, which is Sharp Mind. He's able to get an 18 base defense with the Sharp Mind EX ability upgrade on the passive. So yeah, 18 base defense, not bad at all. He's also a very hard-hitting magical slash DPS because he is a Rune Knight subjob, which they hit very hard if they get like close in range. He's able to do an AoE magic barrier break with his EX ability, which is very good. And his Guts slash Immortal Spirit, he does have access to on his Paladin subjob, which is going to be insanely important in my opinion, and one of the reasons why he is a very good unit in that regard. He can also reduce reaction time to 0 on his hardest hitting ability, I believe is Hazard Slash. He is a slow unit, however, and his Drain Evocation is still his farthest ranged ability, so you do have to consider he won't be really one-shotting units immediately. He does have to get into range, so he could also in return take hits while he's even like moving up. He has no 100% hit abilities, but he does get a little bit of help on his passive from Sharp Mind. I will say it is not enough if he wants to hit peak potential evasion units, especially with their type of setup. It is very difficult for him to do anything. Also, his only survivability option is going to be Guts. Otherwise, he has nothing else for mitigation. Even his Hazard Slash uses his HP when casted. You have to rely on RNG luck for him to use Drain Evocation when he is low HP to heal back up, which the AI might prioritize dealing more damage instead with the Slash abilities. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, overall, I do believe Halloween Rairyuu as a unit himself is going to be a 3.5 out of 5. He's going to be more niche of a usage, just because he mostly fits in with his own Earth team, not necessarily like able to like flex out of that type of situation in overall. But yeah, that's why he's a 3.5 out of 5. If you do want the TMR or your whale or you have Vizior and you like were wondering what unit you should pull, because this is a seasonal unit, which means he will probably return in maybe like 6 months for a really quick crabby like poopy rerun, or like even a year for his official rerun. His TMR I really think is good, so I would put him at a 4.5 out of 5 if you wanted that TMR specifically. And here we are at the very last slide, and Frederika Halloween evaluation, quick evaluation that we're going to be doing. So the pending rating I gave her after looking at all her information from the JP side of things, I gave her a 4 out of 5. However, this is a pending, keep that in mind. In the full evaluation video I will do for her on Wednesday when we get all her information, I will confirm her real rating. For now, I think it's pending at 4 out of 5 until I see like some changes, but yeah. Overall, I can't be 100% sure with that until we see everything that comes out. But yeah, this is the team setup she would have. It's going to be the Quicksand Sinking Squad. I kind of wanted to make like a Naruto reference, but I don't know about like copyright stuff just in case, and I didn't want to like maybe make a reference that people might not understand, so I just went with that name. But yeah. Halloween Frederika would be using specifically her own vision card, not only for the extra boosted luck percentage, but also because of damage in general, as well as just giving her team more pierce resistance, because they are kind of a little bit weak to pierce. Katona's going to be obviously using her own Secrets of the Heart to give everyone luck, which is the primary thing you need for evasion. And then lastly is going to be Zazan, which is also just as important of a vision card, which is Solitary Lion, because it's going to do Earth Attack, Accuracy, and most importantly, slash resistance penetration, because Frederika has nothing to help her with that outside of her limit break. So yeah. Additionally, just like her, in the future, once we have the Final Fantasy 15 collaboration, the Engine Blade does have a base of 20% slash resistance penetration, and I believe it does have an assault type as well. So yeah, that is going to be a sword that she should be capable of using, which is going to be very useful in helping her deal more consistent damage. For matchups and units you want to watch out for, obviously 100% hit abilities are going to be very strong. In general, Rairyuu has a strike 100% hit ability, which hits decently hard, as well as Rairyuu hits pretty hard. So yeah, that 100% hit strike ability is going to be very strong. Halloween Leela has very good accuracy because of her extremely high luck, as well as her extra plus 30% hit. So yeah, I will say Halloween Leela will be a counter to Frederika specifically. And lastly, we have June. Not only is June very going to be slash tanky in general, she is a wind tank as well. So if you see a June, I highly recommend not bringing any earth units in general, because they will have a bit of a tough time taking her down quickly because she is super tanky. And now let's talk about overall information on Frederika. So she, as a base unit, she does get 40% defense penetration as her passive specifically. She has extremely high luck and evasion stat, which can rival Zazan's potential with her own potential. It's barely lower evasion. I even looked at it, it's almost identical, but she does lose out a little bit because of the additional flat evasion that Zazan does have in that situation, because of also the luck difference. But yeah, she can get very, very close to him. It's almost identical, so I would say even like it's the same tier as Zazan. She is going to be very evading. She's capable of 73 agility with Shadowrunner passive, so she is going to be giga quick as well. She has a bit of trouble on passives, however, in terms of flexibility. And what I mean by that is that you can't really get too creative with it without losing out heavily on one side. First off, her main job passive, which you need for the depth penetration, is going to be evasion, attack, and depth penetration. So not only is it going to be raising her attack, her survivability, and her damage like consistency. That is one passive and alone. You can't really take that out without losing all those three. Additionally, for Shadowrunner, it's going to not only boost her agility very high, but also a huge chunk amount of luck, because she does have a good base luck stat as well, which she needs for evadability. So yeah, it's very hard to like switch out of that passive setup. In terms of maximum agility, it's hard to fit in like Shikuchi in there, HP percent, or her crit rate, crit damage passives, like anywhere without taking out a significant amount of her kit in general. So yeah, just keep that in mind. She is, however, I will say, a 3-move, 2-jump unit, so you don't necessarily have to have Shikuchi. She also has a very low amount of HP, so the HP percent won't actually even be much of help. And the crit rate and crit damage is, I mean, it's alright, but it's not consistent enough compared to just her flat attack percentage from her main job other passives. So yeah, just in general, her passives aren't going to really be too flexible in my opinion. For damage modifiers are all decent. None of them really go above, get close to 200% outside of her limit break and dragoon jump, so it's kind of sad to see that. She does have different ways of dealing damage, but because she does not have like a huge nuke attack, that is going to be an issue with her. She's not going to be really one-shotting units overall. You're going to be seeing her do more consistent, sustained DPS instead. She does have a self single target resistance buff for herself. She also has a party AoE buff resistance for her team, and she can also raise her own pierce and magic resistance with a few abilities if she wanted to. So she does have some flexibility for team buffs if she wanted to. And just in terms of that, well, it's going to be specifically the party AoE resistance buff. It's only up by 15, but I mean, hey, that's better than nothing, and that is a team buff in general. She's also able to lower the defense for her teammates because she does have an ability that lowers defense by 30 on a tank or something, or on a different unit to also increase her own damage. So that is going to be something very useful for her kit overall. Her limit break has 30% slash resistance penetration on the usage. Outside of that, however, there is no slash resistance penetration. She has to get it from either equips or vision cards specifically. She has extremely low survivability outside of her evasion due to her low HP pool. She even has lower HP than Halloween Leela, who's a mage. Hello? I don't understand that, but yeah. They obviously pumped her evadability very high, and just in terms of her like kit in general, is going to be very reliant on evasion. I know they gave her single target and AoE resistance buffs. Those are not gonna help her tank damage from chip damage that are actually relevant, kind of like Helena. She's gonna have a very hard time against chip damage in general because she has low HP pool. Now, if she evades it, however, she'll be just fine, a-okay. However, she does not have any other options. She has to evade or she will pretty much die. It is not gonna be too debatable or arguable. Just in general, she can just instantly die from that. So just keep that in mind. Additionally, she has no 100% hit abilities, nor does she have any extra accuracy anywhere on her main job, which means she does not actually have any favorable matchups into evasion units, which is kind of like the counterpart to Halloween Leela, because Leela does have she has the extra hit ability on her own like EX ability that hits very hard as well, and she has just as high luck because she's already down 30%. If it's not going to give her in her favorable, if it's not going to get her into a favorable percentage amount, it is not going to be consistent or good enough into evasion units overall. So that's why Halloween Leela in that regard is good into evasion units compared to Frederika in that regard. And yeah, overall I do, pending rating is 4 out of 5. But until Wednesday, which is coming soon, we'll see what she gets. She can maybe go higher, she might go lower, or she might even stay the same. I don't know yet until we see everything for global side, at least, just like global buffs, etc., all that. So yeah, we'll have to see in the end. But yeah, we've come to the end of the video. If you liked it, please leave a like and or comment. And yeah, until the next video, peace out.